Ma'am, first class isn't for people like you. Economy is in the back where you belong.
The words slice through the cabin like a blade, sharp, deliberate, loud enough for everyone to hear. In exactly 18 minutes, Jessica Parker's career will be over. But first, she'll remove the wrong passenger from the wrong seat. Before we watch justice take flight, tell me something. Where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments below. And if you believe dignity should never have a seat assignment, smash that subscribe button, because this story will change how you see power forever. What Jessica doesn't know is that the woman she's about to humiliate doesn't just own a first-class ticket. She owns the entire airline. Welcome to Delta Flight 447. Departure time 2:15 p.m. Destination Atlanta. But this flight isn't going anywhere until one woman gets the respect she deserves. The tension starts before the first passenger boards. JFK Terminal 4 buzzes with delayed flight announcements. Storm clouds circle LaGuardia. Every departure is running late. Stress fills the air like static electricity. Delta Flight 447 sits at Gate A23. A Boeing 757. Capacity 199 passengers. First class 16 seats. Today, seat 2A will change everything. Maya Richardson steps onto the jet bridge at 1:47 p.m. She moves with quiet confidence. Her black blazer hangs perfectly. Designer jeans, no logo showing. A vintage Rolex catches the light. Simple. Elegant. Powerful. At 34, Maya commands Apex Transportation Solutions. Revenue last year, $2.8 billion. Yesterday, she finalized the acquisition of Delta Airlines. 73% ownership. The deal remains confidential for 48 hours. She carries a leather portfolio. Natural hair pulled into a professional bun. Height, 5'6". Her presence fills the space without demanding attention. She doesn't need to announce her power. Power recognizes itself. Maya boards Flight 447 for a reason. For weeks, her office received complaints, discrimination reports, all from this route, JFK to Atlanta, same flight number, same crew. She could have sent investigators, could have called executives. Instead, she chooses to see the truth with her own eyes. As she steps into first class, memories surface. Age 9. Advanced math class. The teacher's words echo. Honey, maybe regular math would be better for someone like you. Age 16. SAT prep course. The counselor's suggestion. Community college might be more realistic. Age 22. Job interview. The hiring manager's assumption. We don't usually see candidates from your background in finance. Each rejection forged armor. Each insult built strength. Today, Maya wears both. She approaches seat 2A. Window seat. Left side. Perfect view of the wing. She stores her carry-on with practiced efficiency. Buckles her seatbelt. Opens her portfolio. Inside, acquisition documents, federal aviation licenses, board resolutions, the papers that make her the owner of this aircraft. Maya doesn't plan to use them. She hopes she won't need them. But she's prepared. Jessica Parker adjusts her tie at 1:52 p.m. 20 years with Delta, senior flight attendant, 4 stripes on her shoulder. Authority in every movement. At 38, Jessica prides herself on maintaining standards. In her mind, first class has rules, spoken and unspoken. She knows who belongs. She knows who doesn't. Blonde hair pulled tight. Makeup applied like war paint. She stands with military posture. Jessica learned customer service from old-school trainers. Back when airlines had types of passengers they preferred. Jessica was passed over for promotion last month. Purser supervisor position. Given to someone younger. Someone with fresh perspective. She blames diversity initiatives. She resents the changing industry. Today feels different. Storm delays, cranky passengers, full flight. Jessica senses opportunity, chance to prove her authority, show management her value. She reviews the passenger manifest. First class full, familiar names, frequent flyers, VIP status holders. Then she sees it. Seat 2A. Maya Richardson. No status indicators. No loyalty program level. No corporate account markers. Jessica frowns. The system must be glitched, or someone used miles, or worse, someone upgraded inappropriately. She glances toward 2A, sees Maya settling in. Young, black, casual clothes, everything Jessica associates with wrong passenger, wrong seat. Jessica's training should guide her. Treat all passengers with respect, assume positive intent, follow proper procedures. But Jessica's bias whispers louder. This passenger doesn't fit, doesn't belong, must be corrected. Maria Santos, 26, watches from the galley. New hire, 3 months with Delta. She recognizes the look in Jessica's eyes. Seen it before, knows what comes next. David Mitchell settles into seat 1A. Corporate lawyer. Flies first class weekly. Entitled attitude. Expensive suit. He nods approvingly at Jessica's approach toward Maya. Some passengers don't belong, he thinks. Jessica checks her watch. 1:55 p.m. 20 minutes until pushback. Time to handle the situation. Delta Flight 447 represents everything modern aviation should be. Updated cabin, premium amenities, professional crew. But prejudice travels at 30,000 feet too. The first-class cabin holds 16 passengers today. Business executives, vacation travelers, status upgrade winners. And Maya Richardson. Row 1, David Mitchell in 1A, empty seat, 1B. Row 2. Maya Richardson in 2A, elderly couple in 2B and 2C. Row 3. Mother with child in 3A and 3B, businessman in 3C. Row 4, tech executive in 4A, empty 4B, fashion designer in 4C. Each passenger paid premium prices. Each deserves premium service. But Jessica sees hierarchy. Worthy and unworthy. Belongs and doesn't belong. Captain Carlos Rodriguez runs pre-flight checks in the cockpit. 45 years old. 20 years flying commercial. Hispanic heritage. Rose through ranks despite industry barriers. He understands discrimination. Fights it when possible. Co-pilot Tyler Brooks, 29, represents new generation pilots. Technically skilled. Socially tone-deaf. Believes merit determines everything. Ignores how bias affects opportunity. The cabin buzzes with boarding completion. Overhead bins full. Passengers settled. Flight attendants prepare for departure. Jessica reviews safety protocols with Maria Santos. Escape routes, equipment locations, emergency procedures. But Jessica's mind focuses elsewhere. Seat 2A. The problem that needs solving. At 2:03 p.m., 12 minutes until scheduled departure, Jessica makes her decision. She approaches Maya with purpose, determination, authority. What happens next will be recorded, shared, viewed millions of times. But Jessica doesn't know that yet. She sees only what her bias allows. A passenger who doesn't belong, a wrong that needs correcting, a standard that requires maintaining. Jessica Parker has maintained those standards for 20 years. Today, those standards will end her career. Ma'am, Jessica says, stopping beside seat 2A. I need to speak with you. Maya looks up from her portfolio, meeting Jessica's eyes, recognizing the tone, the posture, the intention. Here we go, Maya thinks. The battle for dignity begins at 35,000 feet. Excuse me, miss. Jessica's voice carries that distinct tone, professional courtesy mixed with condescension. I need to verify your boarding pass. There seems to be a discrepancy. Maya closes her portfolio slowly, deliberately. She's heard this script before. Different uniforms, same bias, different excuses, same discrimination. I've already been checked at the gate, Maya responds evenly. Seat 2A is mine. Jessica's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Sometimes the system glitches. People end up in seats they can't afford. The pause before afford lands like a slap. Maya feels familiar anger rise. She breathes deeply, controls her response. She came here to observe, to document, to understand the scope of the problem. Now she's living it. Is there a specific issue with my ticket? Maya asks. Her voice remains calm, professional. She pulls up her digital boarding pass, shows the screen clearly. Jessica barely glances at the phone. Her eyes scan Maya's appearance instead. The casual blazer, the absence of obvious luxury markers, the skin color that triggers her assumptions. Digital passes can be glitched, Jessica says dismissively. Do you have the printed stub? No, Maya replies, her voice hardening slightly. I travel paperless. Look, the plane is pushing back in 10 minutes. Is there a problem here? David Mitchell looks up from his Wall Street Journal. The exchange catches his attention. He recognizes the dynamic, appreciates Jessica's thoroughness. In his mind, standards matter. Order matters. Some people need reminding of their place. Maria Santos watches from the galley. Her stomach churns. 3 months into this job, she's witnessed Jessica's pattern, the selective scrutiny, the convenient system errors, the passengers who somehow always need verification, young mothers traveling alone, elderly immigrants, anyone who doesn't match Jessica's mental image of first-class worthy. Maria wants to speak up, but she's new. On probation, Jessica holds power over her evaluation. Silence feels safer than courage. The problem, Jessica says, dropping the fake politeness entirely, is that Seat 2A is reserved for our global elite members. It's a full fare ticket costing $12,000. I've been working this route for a decade and I know our clientele. The words hang in the air like poison. Other passengers begin noticing. Conversations quiet. Attention shifts toward the confrontation. Maya recognizes the escalation pattern. Public challenge. Implied fraud. Character assassination. She's studied discrimination tactics, experienced them personally. Now she's witnessing textbook execution. I don't see your name on the priority list, Jessica continues. Check the manifest again, Maya says firmly, and check the spelling. Richardson. Jessica doesn't check. Her mind is made up. She's identified a problem passenger, someone who snuck into first class inappropriately, someone who needs removing. Behind Jessica's bias lies economic anxiety, shrinking middle class, rising costs, competition for status. She guards first-class privilege because it represents order in chaos, hierarchy in uncertainty. Maya threatens that order. Young, successful, confident. Everything Jessica fears losing ground to. Mom David Mitchell interjects from 1A. His voice carries entitled authority. Maybe there's been a mistake. I'm sure Delta can resolve this quickly. The word mom pierces the cabin. Dismissive, infantilizing, designed to reduce Maya's status. Other passengers shift uncomfortably. Some film discreetly. Maya looks at David directly. I'm exactly where I belong. Are you sure about that? David's tone suggests otherwise. First class has expectations. The conversation spirals beyond tickets, beyond seats, into territory of belonging, worth, human dignity. Jessica senses David's support, feels emboldened, authority backed by passenger approval. Time to escalate. Jessica raises her voice deliberately. ensuring every passenger hears clearly. Public pressure, crowd intimidation, social shame as weapons. Ma'am, I'm just trying to help you avoid embarrassment when we discover the error. The words are calculated. Error implies Maya made a mistake. Embarrassment suggests inevitable discovery. Help positions Jessica as savior rather than aggressor. Maya recognizes the manipulation, the careful language designed to gaslight, to make the victim question their own reality, to normalize discrimination as customer service. What exactly are you suggesting? Maya asks. Jessica's smile turns predatory. I'm suggesting that perhaps you received an upgrade that wasn't properly authorized. It happens, usually with diverse booking platforms. Diverse booking platforms? Maya's voice sharpens. What does that mean exactly? Jessica retreats slightly, realizes her language ventured too close to obvious discrimination, reframes the attack. Third-party booking sites, discount travel agencies. Sometimes they promise upgrades they can't deliver. I see it constantly with passengers from certain demographics. The cabin temperature seems to drop. Other passengers recognize the implications, the careful coding, the professional prejudice. A woman in 3A starts recording on her phone, holds it low, captures the audio clearly. The exchange is too blatant to ignore. Maria Santos steps forward from the galley. Jessica, maybe I should check the passenger manifest. Maria, please return to your duties. Jessica cuts her off sharply. I'm handling this situation. Maya watches Maria's face, sees the conflict, the desire to help versus fear of consequences. Maya mentally notes the dynamics, the power structures that enable discrimination. David Mitchell leans forward conspiratorially. You know, if this is a financial issue, I'd be happy to cover an economy upgrade for you. No judgment. The offer drips with condescension, false generosity masking obvious insult. Maya stares at him for a long moment. How kind, Maya says, coldly. But I'm perfectly capable of affording my seat. Are you? Though David's tone becomes more aggressive. Because Jessica's been flying this route for years. She knows who belongs here. Maya stands up slowly. Her presence fills the space. Even at 5'6", she commands attention. Authority radiates from her posture, her voice, her unwillingness to be diminished. And who exactly belongs here? Maya asks. The question hangs like a challenge. Jessica answers without thinking. People who understand first-class etiquette. People who appreciate the privilege. People who... She stops. Realizes she's ventured into dangerous territory. But the damage is done. The implications are clear. The bias is exposed. Maya's phone buzzes. Text message from her assistant legal team standing by. PR department monitoring social media. Your call on next steps. Maya silences the phone. She came to observe. But observation has become participation. Documentation has become experience. People who what Jessica Maya presses. Jessica looks around the cabin, notices the phones, the recording, the attention. For the first time, uncertainty creeps in. But pride overrides caution. Authority refuses to bend. People who look like they belong here. Jessica says finally. The words land like bombs. Explicit, undeniable, recorded. Maya smiles sadly. There it is. Jessica realizes her mistake. The phones, the witnesses, the explicit statement. But retreat feels impossible. Admitting error means acknowledging discrimination, losing face, showing weakness. Forward becomes the only option. Escalation the only strategy. Jessica reaches for her handset, calls the cockpit directly. Captain Rodriguez, This is Jessica. We have a disruptive passenger in first class, seat 2A. She's becoming aggressive and refusing to comply with crew instructions. I need security to the aircraft immediately. Maya shakes her head slowly. The false narrative unfolds in real time. Victim becomes aggressor. Discrimination becomes disruption. Reality inverts through authority's lens. Captain Rodriguez's voice crackles through the handset. What's the nature of the disruption? Passenger refuses to provide proper documentation. Claims she has a right to first class despite obvious booking errors. When confronted professionally, she became hostile and threatening. Maya's phone buzzes again. This time she answers. Maya Richardson speaking. Jessica's eyes widen slightly. The professional tone, the confident manner. Something feels different. Maya listens briefly, speaks quietly. Yes, I'm aware. No, don't intervene yet. Let it play out. We need complete documentation. She hangs up, looks at Jessica calmly. Who are you calling? Jessica demands. My office, Maya replies simply. What kind of office? Maya smiles enigmatically, the kind that takes discrimination very seriously. David Mitchell scoffs. Everyone has an office these days, usually just unemployment benefits. The insult draws nervous laughter from some passengers. Others look uncomfortable. The dynamic has shifted from isolated incident to group participation. Airport security appears at the aircraft door. Officer Robert Anderson leads 2 junior officers down the aisle. His presence changes everything. Uniformed authority, physical power, the threat of removal. Jessica feels vindicated. Maya feels the familiar weight of injustice. But something else happens. Phones multiply. Recording angles increase. Social media activates. The passenger in 3A starts live streaming. Y'all, I cannot believe what's happening on this Delta flight right now. They're about to remove a black woman from first class for literally no reason. Viewers join the stream. Comments pour in. The situation goes viral in real time. Officer Anderson Jessica says formally, "This passenger is refusing to leave the aircraft. She's claiming rights to a seat she clearly doesn't have." When asked to verify her ticket, she became belligerent. Maya stands calmly. Hands visible, non-threatening posture. She's been through this before, knows the script, understands the dangers. Officer Maya says evenly, "I have done nothing wrong. I have a valid ticket for seat 2A. This flight attendant has profiled me from the moment I boarded." Officer Anderson looks between them. 20 years in law enforcement. He's seen this dynamic countless times. Bias disguised as policy. Discrimination wrapped in authority. But the flight crew has legal power. Removal authority. His job is enforcement, not judgment. Ma'am, Officer Anderson says reluctantly, "I need you to come with me. We can sort this out on the jet bridge." Sort what out? Maya asks. "I've committed no crime, broken no rules. My ticket is valid. The crew has the right to remove any passenger they consider disruptive." Officer Anderson explains. "If you don't comply voluntarily, we have to escort you." Maya looks around the cabin, the cameras, the witnesses, the recording devices. Then at Maria Santos, whose face shows clear distress. She makes a calculation. Fighting here means arrest, charges, legal complications. Walking away means strategic retreat, living to fight another day. But walking away also means accepting injustice, normalizing discrimination, enabling future victims. The choice crystallizes. Maya sits back down, buckles her seatbelt, folds her hands. "I paid for this seat," she says clearly. "I'm staying in this seat." The cabin erupts. The passenger in 3A, Elena Martinez, angles her phone for maximum visibility. Her live stream explodes from 50 viewers to 5,000 in 3 minutes. "Y'all, this is insane," Elena whispers into her phone. "This flight attendant just told a black woman she doesn't look like she belongs in first class. I'm getting everything on camera." Comments flood the screen. Call the news what airline is. This sue them for everything. Delta needs to see this. Elena reads the comments aloud. Someone wants to know what airline. This is Delta Flight 447 from JFK to Atlanta. The flight attendant's name is Jessica Parker. Jessica hears her name mentioned, spins around, sees the phones, the recording, the live broadcast. Reality crashes down. "Ma'am, you need to stop filming," Jessica demands. "This is a public space," Elena responds. "I have every right to document discrimination." Maria Santos pulls out her own phone. Not to film, but to text her supervisor. Her hands shake as she types emergency situation in cabin. Passenger being removed for racial profiling. This is wrong. David Mitchell tries to grab Elena's phone. "You're making this worse. Stop recording." "Don't touch my phone." Elena jerks away. "Everyone saw that. This man just tried to stop me from documenting civil rights violations." The hashtag Delta Discrimination appears in Elena's comment section. Viewers start sharing, cross-posting, tagging news outlets. Another passenger, James Chen, starts his own recording from seat 4A. Different angle, closer audio. His TikTok following 200,000 people. "This is absolutely wild," James says to his camera. "Flight attendant just racially profiled this woman. Security's here now. This is about to get really ugly." Maya remains seated, calm, collected. She understands social media power, the viral nature of injustice videos, the accountability that comes from public exposure. Her phone buzzes constantly. Text after text. "Boss, your name is trending on Twitter. CNN wants a statement. Legal says don't move. Don't speak. Let them act first. Board of directors watching live streams." Maya silences her phone. This moment belongs to truth, not strategy. Officer Anderson approaches reluctantly. 20 years of experience tells him something's wrong. The passenger shows no signs of disruption, no aggression, no threat. But protocol demands compliance with crew requests. "Ma'am, I'm going to ask one more time. Please gather your belongings and come with me." Maya looks directly into Elena's camera, speaks clearly, deliberately. "My name is Maya Richardson. I am sitting in seat 2A, which I purchased legally. I have been discriminated against by Delta flight attendant Jessica Parker based solely on my race. I have done nothing wrong." Elena's live stream jumps to 15,000 viewers. Comments explode. Maya Richardson, Google her. Wait, is that the CEO of Apex? Oh my God, she owns airlines. Jessica Parker is about to be unemployed. Elena's eyes widen as she reads. She whispers to her camera. "Y'all are saying this woman is some kind of CEO. This is about to be legendary." Jessica remains oblivious to the social media storm, focused on winning the confrontation, establishing authority, removing the problem passenger. "Officer, she's refusing direct crew instructions," Jessica states formally. "This is a federal offense. I want her arrested for interference with flight crew duties." Maya stands slowly, with dignity, grace under pressure. She reaches for her blazer, her portfolio, her carry-on bag. "I want everyone to witness this moment," Maya says to the cabin. Delta Airlines is removing a paying passenger for the crime of being black in first class. She walks toward the aisle. Officer Anderson follows reluctantly. His body language shows discomfort. This feels wrong. As Maya passes each row, passengers react differently. Row 4. James stops recording out of respect, nods supportively. Row 3. Elena keeps filming, tears in her eyes. Row 2. Elderly couple looks ashamed, avoiding eye contact. Row 1. David Mitchell smirks with satisfaction. Maria Santos breaks protocol, steps into the aisle. "Jessica, this is wrong," Maria says loudly. "She didn't do anything. You targeted her because of her race." Maria, return to your station immediately. Jessica snaps. One more word and you're written up. But the damage is done. A crew member has confirmed the discrimination. On camera. In front of witnesses. Maya pauses beside Maria. Speaks quietly but clearly. Thank you for your courage. Remember this moment. Use it to be better than the people who trained you. Maya continues down the aisle. The walk of shame becomes a march of dignity. Each step documented, each moment recorded. She reaches the aircraft door, the jet bridge, the cold air outside. Officer Anderson escorts her off the plane, but something bothers him. Professional instincts honed over decades. Ma'am, he says quietly, I want you to know this doesn't feel right, but I have to follow the crew's lead. Maya smiles sadly. Officer Anderson, you're just doing your job. But sometimes the job is wrong. Behind them, the aircraft door remains open. Usually it slams shut the moment the problem is removed. But something's different today. In the cockpit, Captain Rodriguez stares at his phone. A text message from Delta Operations. Urgent. Maya Richardson, CEO of Apex Transportation, reported being discriminated against on your flight. She owns 73% of Delta as of yesterday's acquisition. Handle immediately. Captain Rodriguez drops his phone, stares at his co-pilot Tyler Brooks. We have a problem, Captain Rodriguez says. What kind of problem? Tyler asks. The kind that ends careers, Captain Rodriguez replies. Tyler Brooks reads the text message twice. This has to be a mistake. Some random passenger claiming to be a CEO. People lie all the time. Captain Rodriguez pulls up the passenger manifest on his tablet. Seat 2A. Richardson Maya. Paid full fare. No status indicators. But something else catches his attention. The credit card used for booking. A corporate American Express. Account holder Apex Transportation Solutions. Captain Rodriguez Googles quickly. Maya Richardson, CEO, Apex Transportation. Results flood the screen. Forbes articles, business journal profiles, a $2.8 billion transportation empire. And yesterday's news, Apex Transportation acquires Delta Airlines in surprise deal. Oh my God, Captain Rodriguez whispers. We just removed our own boss from the plane. Tyler's face goes pale. That's impossible. Jessica would have recognized her. Crew members know VIP passengers. Do they? Captain Rodriguez asks. When's the last time you saw Maya Richardson's photo in crew briefings? Tyler realizes the truth. Important passengers get flagged by status codes, frequent flyer levels, corporate accounts. But Maya traveled anonymously, testing the crew's baseline behavior, and they failed spectacularly. Captain Rodriguez makes a decision. He keys his microphone to the cabin address system. Flight attendants, please report to the cockpit immediately. Jessica appears within minutes, confident, victorious. The disruptive passenger has been removed. Captain, the situation is resolved, Jessica reports. We can proceed with departure. Captain Rodriguez shows her his tablet. Maya Richardson's photo, her biography, her company profile. Jessica stares. Color drains from her face. You just removed the owner of this airline, Captain Rodriguez says quietly. Jessica's world collapses. 20 years of service, pension contributions, health benefits, career prospects, all destroyed in 18 minutes of bias. But she didn't identify herself. Jessica stammers. She looked like what? Jessica. The question hangs unanswered. Because any answer reveals the discrimination. Tyler Brooks interjects. Maybe we can fix this. Apologize. Bring her back. Pretend it was a misunderstanding. Captain Rodriguez shakes his head. The damage is done. It's all over social media. News outlets are picking it up. The only way forward is accountability. Jessica pleads desperately. Captain, you know me? I'm not racist. I was just following protocol. What protocol requires removing passengers based on appearance? No answer exists, because no such protocol exists. Captain Rodriguez makes another decision. The kind that defines character. The kind that chooses justice over convenience. He powers down the aircraft engines, activates the cabin address system. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. His voice reaches every passenger, every phone, every live stream. We have a serious situation aboard this aircraft that requires immediate attention. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Rodriguez. I need your complete attention for an important announcement. The cabin falls silent. Passengers look up from phones, stop conversations, focus on the overhead speakers. A passenger was just unlawfully removed from this aircraft due to discriminatory treatment by a member of our crew. This action violates every principle Delta Airlines stands for. Jessica's face turns white. She grabs the seat back for support. Captain Rodriguez continues, Until this injustice is properly addressed, we will not be departing. No one should face discrimination at 35,000 feet or anywhere else. The cabin erupts in applause. Passengers cheer. Elena's live stream explodes to 25,000 viewers. Furthermore, Captain Rodriguez adds, I want everyone to know that the passenger who was removed is Maya Richardson, CEO of Apex Transportation Solutions, and as of yesterday, the majority owner of Delta Airlines. Complete silence. Then chaos. David Mitchell's jaw drops. The woman he dismissed as unworthy owns the company he relies on for business travel. Jessica collapses into a jump seat. Her career isn't just over. Her actions just damaged the reputation of her own employer, the employer she's about to lose. Maria Santos starts crying, relief mixed with vindication. She witnessed injustice and spoke up. Now she knows she was right. Elena shouts into her phone, Y'all, the woman they just kicked off owns the whole airline. This is the most insane plot twist ever. Comments. Flood her stream. Jessica. Parker is canceled. Maya Richardson is a queen. Delta about to lose billions. Captain Rodriguez is a hero. Tyler Brooks slumps in his seat. Captain, we're going to lose our jobs over this. Maybe Captain Rodriguez replies, but losing our jobs beats losing our souls. In Delta's operations center in Atlanta, phones ring constantly. Social media monitoring alerts ping every few seconds. The hashtag Maya Richardson trends nationally within 15 minutes. News outlets scramble reporters to JFK, CNN, NBC, ABC, Fox. The story has everything: race, power, justice, corporate drama. Delta's PR department goes into crisis mode. But there's no spinning this. No corporate statement can explain away recorded discrimination. The only solution is accountability. On the jet bridge, Maya Richardson stands with quiet dignity. Officer Anderson shifts uncomfortably beside her. Gate agent Elena Vasquez approaches nervously. Ms. Richardson, Elena says carefully, I've just received word from my supervisor. There may have been a misunderstanding regarding your seating assignment. Maya raises an eyebrow. A misunderstanding? Yes, ma'am. If you could provide identification, we can resolve this immediately and get you back on the plane. Maya reaches into her portfolio, withdraws her driver's license, her Delta Airlines corporate credit card, her Apex Transportation business card, and one more document. Elena reads the business card, Maya Richardson, Chief Executive Officer, Apex Transportation Solutions. Then the corporate card account holder, M. Richardson, Delta Airlines Board of Directors. Elena's hands shake as she examines the documents. Everything checks out, but the final document makes her legs weak. It's a legal brief. Acquisition completion notice. Apex Transportation Solutions. Acquisition of Delta Airlines, Inc. Effective date, yesterday. Ownership percentage 73%. Ms. Richardson. Elena whispers, "You own this airline." "Yes," Maya says simply. "I do." Elena immediately radios her supervisor, then her supervisor's supervisor. Within minutes, the entire terminal management team rushes to gate A23. Regional Director James Hamilton arrives breathless. He's seen the social media posts, knows the magnitude of the crisis. Ms. Richardson. "I cannot begin to express how sorry we are. This incident does not represent Delta's values or training standards." Maya studies his face, looking for sincerity, finding panic instead. "Doesn't it?" Maya asks. "Because this happens regularly. I have documentation, complaints filed, patterns identified. This incident isn't an anomaly. It's evidence." Hamilton's face pales. "Ma'am, if you have specific concerns about our operations, I assure you they will be investigated thoroughly." "They already have been," Maya replies. "That's why I was on this flight, gathering first-hand evidence of the culture your employees perpetuate." Maya's phone buzzes. Her assistant texts media arriving at JFK. "Legal team en route. Board meeting called for emergency session. Your call on next steps." Maya types back, "Let it play out. Full transparency. Document everything." Officer Anderson speaks up. "Ma'am, I want to formally apologize. I should have questioned the crew's assessment. I let protocol override common sense." Maya nods respectfully. "Officer, you were put in an impossible situation. The failure isn't yours." She turns to Hamilton. "The failure belongs to the culture that trained Jessica Parker to see passengers like me as problems to be solved rather than people to be served." Hamilton fidgets nervously. "Ms. Richardson, how can we make this right? What would you like us to do?" Maya's response surprises him. "I want to get back on that plane. I want to sit in seat 2A. And I want Jessica Parker to personally apologize to every passenger for the discrimination they witnessed. And then we fix the underlying problem. Company-wide retraining, policy overhauls, cultural transformation, real change, not just damage control." Hamilton nods eagerly. "Absolutely. Whatever you need." Maya's eyes narrow. "Don't agree so quickly. Real change is expensive, uncomfortable. It requires admitting widespread problems and implementing comprehensive solutions. We're committed to doing whatever it takes." Hamilton insists. "We'll see," Maya says. "Actions matter more than words." Back on Flight 447, chaos reigns. Passengers demand answers. Social media explodes. Crew members panic. Jessica Parker sits in the galley hyperventilating. 20-year career destroyed in 20 minutes. Pension gone. References ruined. Industry reputation demolished. Maria Santos tries to comfort her colleague despite their conflict. "Jessica, maybe if you apologize sincerely, apologize for what Jessica snaps. For doing my job. For maintaining standards." The response reveals everything. No recognition of wrongdoing, no acknowledgement of bias, no understanding of impact. David Mitchell makes frantic phone calls. His law firm handles corporate accounts. If Maya Richardson owns Delta, his firm's travel benefits could disappear overnight. Elena Martinez continues live streaming to 35,000 viewers. Y'all, the flight attendant still doesn't get it. She still thinks she did nothing wrong. Comments pour in. Delusional, she's about to learn accountability incoming. James Chen posts his TikTok video. It reaches 100,000 views in 10 minutes. The algorithm amplifies it further. Soon, celebrities repost. Politicians comment. The story transcends aviation into national conversation. Captain Rodriguez makes another announcement. Passengers, I've just spoken with ground operations. Maya Richardson will be returning to the aircraft. She has graciously agreed to continue our flight despite the inexcusable treatment she received. More applause, but also tension. How do you resume normal operations after extraordinary dysfunction? Tyler Brooks raises a question. Captain, what happens to Jessica? Captain Rodriguez checks his messages. Instructions from corporate are clear. Flight attendant, Jessica Parker is terminated effective immediately. She should be removed from the aircraft before passenger return. Jessica Captain Rodriguez calls to the galley. I need to speak with you privately. Jessica approaches the cockpit door, hope flickering in her eyes. Maybe corporate will support her. Maybe this will blow over. Maybe she can salvage her career. Jessica, I've received word from Atlanta. You're being terminated immediately. You need to gather your personal belongings and leave the aircraft. The words hit like physical blows. Jessica staggers, grabs the doorframe for support. Captain, please. I have 20 years with this company. I made one mistake. One misunderstanding. This wasn't a misunderstanding, Jessica. This was discrimination. And it was recorded. And it went viral. And it damaged our company's reputation. Jessica's denial continues. I was protecting the integrity of first class. I was maintaining our standards. Whose standards? Captain Rodriguez asks pointedly. Because discriminating against passengers based on race isn't a Delta standard. It's personal bias disguised as policy. Jessica realizes her situation is hopeless. No appeals process can fix this. No explanation can justify recorded discrimination. No apology can undo viral humiliation. She gathers her personal items slowly. Badge, uniform accessories, photo from her locker, 20 years of service reduced to a small bag of belongings. As Jessica walks toward the aircraft door for the last time, passengers watch silently. Some feel sympathy for a career destroyed. Others feel justice for discrimination exposed. Maria Santos approaches Jessica at the door. I'm sorry it ended this way, but Maya Richardson didn't deserve that treatment. Jessica looks at Maria with bitter eyes. You don't understand. This industry is changing. Standards are falling. Soon anyone will think they belong anywhere. Even facing termination, Jessica clings to her bias. No growth, no learning, no redemption. She disappears into the jet bridge, into unemployment, into consequences. Maya Richardson walks back down the jet bridge with measured steps. Media crews have arrived at JFK Terminal 4. Cameras flash. Reporters shout questions. Airport security maintains a perimeter. Ms. Richardson, how do you respond to this discrimination? Will you be filing a lawsuit against Delta? What changes will you implement as the new owner? Maya pauses at the aircraft door, turns to address the media briefly. I came on this flight to understand discrimination complaints we've received. I experienced that discrimination firsthand. The evidence speaks for itself. Changes will be comprehensive and immediate. She boards Flight 447 to thunderous applause. Every passenger stands. Elena Martinez captures the moment live. 40,000 viewers watch Maya return in triumph. Captain Rodriguez meets her at the door. Ms. Richardson, welcome back aboard. I want to personally apologize for what you experienced. Captain, you chose to do the right thing when it mattered most. That shows character. Maya walks down the aisle toward seat 2A. The same path she took in humiliation an hour earlier. Now she walks in vindication. David Mitchell avoids eye contact as she passes row 1. His earlier comments replay in his mind. The condescension, the assumptions, the support for Jessica's discrimination. Maya reaches seat 2A, her original destination. But she doesn't sit immediately. Instead, she turns to address the cabin. Every passenger listens intently. Every phone records her words. Fellow passengers, you witnessed something terrible today. Discrimination disguised as policy. Bias wrapped in authority. prejudice enabled by silence. Her voice carries throughout the cabin. Strong, clear, undeniable. But you also witnessed courage. Maria Santos spoke up when speaking up was dangerous. Captain Rodriguez chose justice over convenience. Elena Martinez documented truth when truth needed preserving. Maria Santos wipes tears from her eyes. Her moment of courage transformed her from bystander to hero. Most importantly, Maya continues, you proved that discrimination cannot survive sunlight. When bias operates in darkness, it flourishes. When exposed to public accountability, it dies. She gestures toward the now empty galley where Jessica once stood. Jessica Parker lost her job today, not because she was punished for her race, but because she punished me for mine. That's not revenge. That's consequences. Maya finally sits in seat 2A, buckles her seatbelt, opens her portfolio. "Let's go to Atlanta," she announces. The cabin erupts in celebration. Captain Rodriguez starts the engines. For the first time in hours, Flight 447 begins moving. But the destination has changed. This isn't just transportation anymore. It's transformation. As they taxi toward the runway, Maya's phone buzzes with messages from her legal team board of directors and PR department. The story has exploded beyond social media into international news. CNN breaking news: airline CEO discriminated against on her own plane. BBC viral video shows shocking discrimination in U.S. aviation. Wall Street Journal: Delta stock plummets after discrimination scandal. Maya reads the headlines without emotion. She expected this reaction, planned for this response. The documentation was intentional. The exposure was strategic. Her assistant texts Delta's board requesting emergency meeting. Stock down 12% in after-hours trading. Competitor airlines distancing themselves. "What's our response?" Maya types back. Truth. Accountability. Change. In that order. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, Delta's executive team scrambles to control damage. CEO Jonathan Hayes calls an emergency board meeting. Legal department prepares statements. HR reviews policies. But the damage transcends PR problems. This is cultural crisis, reputation destruction, trust breakdown. Hayes calls Maya directly. She answers on the first ring. "Maya, Jonathan Hayes here. I cannot express how sorry I am about this incident. Jessica Parker's actions do not represent Delta's values, don't they?" Maya responds coolly. "Because I have documentation of similar incidents, patterns of discrimination, cultural acceptance of bias. This wasn't an isolated incident, Jonathan. It was inevitable outcome." Hayes's voice tightens. "What do you want? Full investigation. Policy changes. Financial compensation." "I want transformation," Maya says. "Complete cultural overhaul. Top to bottom. Every employee, every policy, every procedure. That's extensive. Discrimination is extensive. Solutions must be proportional." Hayes realizes his position has fundamentally changed. Yesterday, he ran Delta Airlines. Today, he works for Maya Richardson. The power dynamic has reversed completely. "What would transformation look like?" Hayes asks carefully. Maya outlines her vision. Mandatory unconscious bias training for all employees. Customer service protocols that prioritize dignity over authority. Diverse leadership at every level. Transparent complaint processes. Financial penalties for discriminatory behavior. And if we agree to these changes, then Delta becomes the industry leader in inclusive service. If you resist, I implement changes unilaterally as majority owner. Hayes understands the choice. Cooperation or replacement. Evolution or extinction. "We'll cooperate fully," Hayes says. "Good. I'll be in Atlanta in 3 hours. Have your leadership team ready for comprehensive discussions. Maya hangs up, looks out the window at clouds passing below. The view from 35,000 feet provides perspective. Problems that seem overwhelming on the ground become manageable from altitude. In the galley, Maria Santos approaches hesitantly. "Ms. Richardson, may I speak with you?" Maya unbuckles her seatbelt, walks to the galley for privacy. "I wanted to thank you," Maria says, "for what you did, for standing up, for not backing down. You stood up too, Maria. That took courage. I was scared. Jessica controls my evaluation. I thought speaking up would cost me my job. Sometimes doing the right thing has costs, Maya acknowledges, but the cost of silence is always higher." Maria nods thoughtfully. "What happens now? To the company? To people like Jessica?" Maya considers the question carefully. Jessica lost her job because her actions were discriminatory and documented. She had 20 years to learn better behavior. She chose not to. And the company will learn, or it will fail. Those are the only options. Captain Rodriguez's voice fills the cabin. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're beginning our descent into Atlanta. Flight attendants prepare for arrival." As Flight 447 descends, Maya reflects on the day's events. She boarded as an undercover observer. She's landing as a public champion for change. The plane touches down at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Applause fills the cabin again, but the real work begins now. Delta's executive conference room at 7:30 p.m. resembles a crisis command center. Laptops displaying social media feeds, phones ringing constantly, legal documents scattered across tables. CEO Jonathan Hayes sits at the head of the table. His leadership team flanks both sides. All eyes focus on the conference room door, waiting for Maya Richardson's arrival. At precisely 7:30, Maya enters. No entourage, no bodyguards, just quiet authority and undeniable power. She takes the seat opposite Hayes, opens her portfolio deliberately. "Gentlemen, ladies, let's discuss transformation." Chief Operating Officer Amanda Torres speaks first. "Ms. Richardson, we've reviewed the incident. Jessica Parker was an isolated case. Her views don't reflect our corporate culture." Maya slides a thick folder across the table. This folder contains 47 discrimination complaints filed against Delta in the past 18 months, all involving flight crew bias, all dismissed as misunderstandings or isolated incidents. The room falls silent. Page 12 details a Hispanic family removed from first class because crew questioned their ability to afford the seats. Page 23 describes an elderly Asian passenger told he probably belonged in economy. Page 38 documents a Muslim woman asked to remove her hijab because it made other passengers uncomfortable. Maya flips through pages methodically. Each complaint reveals patterns, targets, consistent bias disguised as policy enforcement. These aren't isolated incidents, Maya continues. They're evidence of widespread cultural acceptance of discrimination. Jessica Parker wasn't acting alone. She was acting within accepted norms. CFO Robert Kim shifts uncomfortably. Our employee training includes diversity and inclusion modules. Does it? Maya asks. Because I've reviewed those modules. 2 hours of online clicking. No discussion, no practice scenarios, no accountability measures. Training without implementation isn't training. It's liability protection. Legal counsel. Patricia Williams interjects, "Ms. Richardson, we're prepared to offer significant financial settlement for your experience today." Maya's eyes narrow. "I don't want money, Patricia. I want change. Money doesn't undo discrimination. It just prices it." She stands walking to the room's large windows overlooking airport runways. Planes taxi constantly. Passengers board unknowingly. Some will face the same bias she experienced. Here's what will happen, Maya announces. Every Delta employee will complete comprehensive bias training, not online modules, in-person workshops, role-playing exercises, real scenarios with real consequences. She continues, customer service protocols will be rewritten. No passenger can be removed without supervisor approval and documented justification. All removals will be reviewed by independent oversight board. Furthermore, Maya adds, turning back to the table, flight crew performance will include bias assessment metrics. Discrimination complaints will trigger immediate investigation with outside arbitrators. Hayes takes notes frantically. The scope of change is unprecedented, but resistance isn't an option. Leadership diversity will increase to 50% within 18 months. Not through quotas, but through expanded recruitment and bias-free selection processes. Maya returns to her seat, opens another folder. Finally, Delta will establish a passenger advocacy department, independent from operations, empowered to investigate complaints and implement corrective actions. The executives exchange glances. The changes represent complete cultural overhaul. Expensive, comprehensive, irreversible. What if we object, asks Torres cautiously. Maya's response is swift. Then I exercise my majority ownership rights and implement changes unilaterally. Your cooperation makes transition smoother, not optional. Hayes realizes the new reality. Maya Richardson holds all the power. Cooperation offers influence. Resistance guarantees irrelevance. We agree to full cooperation, Hayes states formally. Good, Maya says. Implementation begins Monday. Maria Santos will head the new passenger advocacy department. The flight attendant from today. The flight attendant who showed moral courage when her colleagues chose bias. Experience matters. Character matters more. Maya closes her portfolio, stands to leave. One final point, she adds. These changes aren't punishment, they're evolution. The aviation industry can lead transformation or follow reluctantly. Delta will lead. She walks toward the door, pauses. I'll be monitoring progress personally, not undercover next time, but monitoring nonetheless. The door closes behind her. The executives sit in stunned silence. The old Delta died today. The new Delta begins tomorrow. The Delta Airlines Training Center in Atlanta buzzes with activity on a Tuesday morning. Conference rooms overflow with employees attending mandatory bias intervention workshops. Not online clicking exercises, real conversations, difficult topics, honest confrontations with unconscious prejudice. Maria Santos stands before a group of flight attendants. Her new title, Director of Passenger Advocacy and Inclusive Service. The promotion from junior flight attendant to department head happened in record time. Merit accelerated by moral courage. Today we'll discuss implicit bias in customer service. Maria begins. How assumptions affect behavior. How bias masquerades as policy. How discrimination hides behind authority. The attendees include veterans with 20-plus years of service. Some resist the training. Others embrace change. All participate because employment depends on completion. Can anyone share an experience where you witnessed bias disguised as procedure, Maria asks. A senior flight attendant named Patricia raises her hand reluctantly. I've seen crew members scrutinize tickets more carefully for certain passengers. Young black men, Hispanic families, Middle Eastern travelers. We call it thorough checking, but it's profiling. The admission ripples through the room. Acknowledgement represents the first step toward change. Another attendant. Marcus adds, I used to assume passengers in first class belonged there. Passengers in economy didn't. Never questioned why I made those assumptions. Race played a bigger role than I admitted. Maria nods approvingly. Awareness precedes change. Denial prevents progress. The workshops continue throughout Delta's network. Flight crews, gate agents, customer service representatives, maintenance staff. Everyone participates. No exceptions. Resistance appears initially. Some employees quit rather than examine their biases. Others complain about political correctness and thought control. But most engage honestly with their own prejudices. Results show quickly. Discrimination complaints drop 89% in the first quarter. Customer satisfaction scores reach all-time highs. Employee morale improves as toxic behaviors disappear. Maya Richardson reviews progress reports from her Atlanta office. The new Delta headquarters features diverse artwork, inclusive design, and open communication spaces. Symbolic changes support cultural transformation. Her assistant Sandra Williams briefs her on implementation metrics. Training completion rate 97.3%. Customer complaint resolution improved by 340%. Employee diversity increased by 28% at management levels. And Jessica Parker Maya asks. Sandra checks her notes. Still unemployed. Applied to 12 airlines. All rejected her applications after background checks. She's considering career change. Maya feels no satisfaction in Jessica's struggles. Consequences serve justice, not revenge. But accountability matters for cultural change. What about the other employees involved? David Mitchell lost his corporate travel account. His law firm switched airlines after client complaints. He issued a public apology video that received negative reactions. Maya nods, and Officer Anderson enrolled voluntarily in bias training at the Airport Police Academy. Advocates for policy changes in security procedures became an ally. The contrast between responses reveals character. Some people learn from mistakes, others remain trapped by them. The transformation extends beyond Delta Airlines. Maya's story influences the entire transportation industry. Competitors scramble to review their own policies before similar incidents expose their cultures. American Airlines announces comprehensive bias training within 30 days of Maya's incident. United Airlines hires external consultants to audit customer service procedures. Southwest emphasizes inclusion in their marketing campaigns. The Federal Aviation Administration launches industry-wide discrimination review. Congressional hearings examine passenger rights. Legislation emerges requiring bias training for all airline personnel. Maya testifies before Congress about her experience and transformation efforts. Her words carry weight beyond personal story into policy recommendations. Discrimination in transportation affects national mobility, Maya tells the House Transportation Committee. When bias determines access, economic opportunity suffers. When prejudice guides service, democracy weakens. Representative Johnson asks, what specific changes would you recommend for industry regulation? Mandatory bias training with standardized curricula. Independent oversight of passenger complaints. Financial penalties for discriminatory practices. Transparency reporting of bias incidents. The recommendations become legislative proposals. The Maya Richardson Act for Transportation Equity passes both houses with bipartisan support. Airlines must comply or lose federal operating certificates. International attention follows. European carriers adopt similar policies. Asian airlines review their procedures. Global transportation experiences cultural shift, inspired by one woman's refusal to accept discrimination. Maya receives recognition from civil rights organizations. NAACP honors her courage. The Martin Luther King Jr. Center celebrates her transformation leadership. Time magazine names her Person of the Year for turning personal pain into institutional progress. But recognition isn't the goal. Change is. 1 year after the incident, Maya boards Delta Flight 447 again. Same route. JFK to Atlanta, seat 2A. But everything else has changed. The gate agent, now trained in inclusive service, greets her warmly. Good afternoon, Ms. Richardson. Welcome aboard. Your seat is ready and the crew is honored to serve you today. No profiling, no assumptions, no discrimination disguised as policy. Maya boards the aircraft to applause from passengers who recognize her. But the response feels different. Not celebrity worship, respect for courage, appreciation for change. Captain Rodriguez still pilots the route by choice. He could have transferred after the incident. Instead, he chose to be part of the solution. Ms. Richardson. Captain Rodriguez announces over the intercom. Welcome aboard Delta Flight 447. It's an honor to have you with us. This flight represents everything we strive to be safe, professional, and inclusive for every passenger. The first-class cabin features diverse passengers served by diverse crew members. Natural representation replacing artificial barriers. Maria Santos approaches Maya's seat. Her new role allows her to fly periodically, monitoring service quality and passenger experiences. Ms. Richardson, how does it feel to be back? Maya considers the question carefully. It feels like progress. Not perfect, but progress. She looks around the cabin, sees families of different backgrounds traveling comfortably. Mixed-race couples holding hands without stares. Muslim women wearing hijabs without harassment. Change is visible. Maya continues. But more importantly, change is cultural. People treat each other with dignity because dignity is expected, not exceptional. Flight 447 pushes back on time. No drama, no discrimination, no incidents requiring viral documentation, just normal service, which was always the goal. As they climb toward cruising altitude, Maya reflects on the year's transformation. Personal humiliation became institutional revolution. Individual courage inspired widespread change. But the work continues. Bias adapts. Discrimination evolves. Vigilance remains essential. Maya opens her portfolio. Inside, new discrimination reports from other industries. Hotels, restaurants, retail stores, banks. The pattern repeats across sectors. Her phone buzzes. Text from her assistant Hilton Hotels requesting consultation after viral discrimination video. Marriott wants bias training recommendations. Starbucks needs policy review. Maya types back schedule meetings. The work continues. Through the window, clouds pass like pages in a book. Each one represents progress. Each gap shows remaining work. Flight 447 lands in Atlanta on schedule. Passengers deplane peacefully. No incidents, no conflicts, no discrimination. Just service. Equal service. Dignified service. The way it always should have been. Maya Richardson sits in Seat 2A as Flight 447 descends into Atlanta one final time in this story. The same seat where her journey began. The same seat where discrimination tried to diminish her dignity. Now that seat represents something different. Victory. Not over Jessica Parker, whose career ended in consequences. Not over David Mitchell, whose privilege couldn't protect him from accountability. Not over a broken culture that finally faced repair. Victory over the lie that some people don't belong. That dignity has a dress code. That respect requires permission from those who look different. Maya unbuckles her seatbelt as the plane reaches the gate. Fellow passengers nod respectfully as she gathers her belongings. The same leather portfolio, the same professional blazer, the same quiet confidence. But she's not the same person who boarded this flight a year ago. She's stronger. Not because she won a fight, but because she chose to fight. Not because she gained power, but because she used power responsibly. Not because discrimination ended, but because she proved it could end. As Maya walks down the jet bridge for the last time in this story, she passes a young black girl traveling with her family. The child stares with wide eyes of recognition. "Mommy." The girl whispers loudly. "That's the lady from the airplane video." The mother smiles nervously. Approaches. Maya hesitantly. "Ms. Richardson, I wanted to thank you. My daughter wants to be a pilot now. She says if you can own airplanes, she can fly them." Maya kneels down to the girl's eye level. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Zoe." The girl answers shyly. "Well, Zoe, you can absolutely be a pilot, or an airline owner, or anything else you dream of being. Don't let anyone tell you where you don't belong." Maya stands, touches Zoe's shoulder gently. The sky isn't the limit anymore. It's just the beginning. Walking toward the terminal, Maya reflects on the true measure of success. Not stock prices or profit margins. Not congressional testimony or magazine covers. Not even policy changes or training programs. Success is a little girl who believes she can fly. Maya's phone buzzes with a text from Maria Santos' new discrimination complaint from Phoenix Sky Harbor. Flight crew, different airline, same patterns. Are you available to consult? Maya types back quickly. On my way, because the work never stops. Bias evolves. Discrimination adapts. Progress requires constant vigilance, but something fundamental has changed. The conversation shifted, the standards elevated, the expectations transformed. People now film discrimination not just to shame perpetrators, but to demand accountability. Companies implement bias training not because lawyers require it, but because customers expect it. Leaders champion inclusion not because it's trendy, but because it's profitable. Maya Richardson exits the Atlanta airport into warm Georgia sunshine. The same sun that shone on discrimination now illuminates transformation. Her driver waits at the curb, a young Hispanic man named Carlos who started as a baggage handler and earned his commercial driver's license through Delta's new advancement program. "Good flight, Ms. Richardson?" Carlos asks. "Perfect flight," Maya replies. "No drama, no incidents, no viral videos. That's the best kind," Carlos agrees. As they drive toward downtown Atlanta, Maya notices the billboard above Highway 85. It features diverse faces smiling beneath Delta's logo. The tagline reads, "Your journey, our commitment, every passenger, every time." Marketing follows culture. When culture changes, everything changes. Maya's phone rings. Unknown number from Seattle. "Ms. Richardson, this is Captain Jennifer Walsh with Alaska Airlines. I saw your presentation to Congress. We'd like to discuss implementing similar changes here." Maya smiles. The ripple effect continues expanding. "Captain Walsh, I'd be happy to help. Change is contagious when it's genuine." They schedule a meeting, another airline, another opportunity, another step toward industry transformation. The car pulls up to Maya's office building. Apex Transportation Solutions towers 43 floors above Atlanta's skyline. From the top floor, Maya can see Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in the distance. Hundreds of planes taxi constantly. Thousands of passengers board daily. Millions of interactions happen annually. Each one represents opportunity, for dignity or discrimination, for inclusion or exclusion, for progress or prejudice. Maya Richardson proved that one voice, when amplified by courage and backed by power, can change entire industries. But she also proved something more important. That dignity doesn't require power. That respect doesn't need permission. That belonging isn't granted by others. It's claimed by ourselves. She steps out of the car, enters her building, takes the elevator to the 43rd floor, returns to the work of transformation. Because somewhere on some flight at some airport in some seat, another person faces discrimination. Another voice needs amplifying. Another change needs making. Maya Richardson stands ready. Dignity doesn't have a dress code. Justice doesn't need a first-class ticket. And change doesn't require anyone's permission. It only requires courage. The story ends where it began, in seat 2A. But the meaning has transformed. That seat no longer represents where Maya was told she didn't belong. It represents where everyone belongs. 2 years later, Jessica Parker attempts to return to aviation but finds every airline door closed. She enrolls in community college to study social work, slowly learning the impact of her actions on others. In quiet moments, she sometimes watches Maya's congressional testimony online, finally beginning to understand the pain she caused. Maya Richardson's Apex Transportation becomes the most profitable airline group in North America, proving that treating people with dignity isn't just right, it's good business. The Maya Richardson Terminal at Atlanta International serves as a permanent reminder that one person's courage can create lasting change. Young pilots train there, learning that inclusion elevates everyone. The video of Maya's removal and triumphant return has been viewed over 200 million times worldwide. But the real measure of success isn't views. It's the fact that no passenger has been removed from any major airline for discriminatory reasons since that day. Sometimes it only takes one voice, one moment, one refusal to accept injustice to change the entire conversation. Maya didn't just reclaim her seat. She redesigned what belonging looks like for everyone who travels after her. If this story moved you, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been told you don't belong somewhere? Have you witnessed discrimination that should have been stopped? Share your story in the comments below, because your voice matters just as much as Maya's did. And if you believe in dignity for everyone, regardless of how they look or where they come from, show your support by hitting that like button right now. This story needs to reach people who might be facing their own seat to a moment. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring that notification bell, because we're just getting started. Stories of courage, justice, and transformation drop every week, and you won't want to miss a single one. Most importantly, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Share it with someone who's been made to feel like they don't belong. Share it with someone who has the power to create change in their workplace, their community, or their industry. Because Maya Richardson didn't just change one airline. She proved that one person's refusal to accept injustice can transform entire industries. Your story could be next. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. And remember, you belong everywhere your courage can take you. Won't.